The original Bob Thomas Ford started in 1983.
83, all right. And you were born in
84.
84. Okay.
So I was right behind.
You were right behind. You were in the trunk.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
You were in his advertising for years, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I was even on a billboard for a little while in a Superman outfit, pointing the way to great savings. First job, I detailed cars. Did that for 2 summers.
Is that a fancy term for washing cars?
It's a fancy term for washing cars, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, and could do about 2 cars an hour. And from there, I went to the service drive and would pull people's cars up. We call them porters now, but kind of gopher, lot guy. In high school, I worked in our body shop, helped restore a 1948 F1 pickup truck that we still have. Well, I wasn't in charge of the restoration, but I would go spend about 20 hours a week helping on the restoration. So I was learning. I was following the mechanics lead.
Was there ever a question in your mind what you were going to do for a living?
There really wasn't. I was about 10 or 11 years old, and we were in this facility here, and my dad had an offer to sell the dealership, and it was a good offer, and he, I think, pondered it, pretty good. And I remember sitting at the table, and he asked me if I would ever be interested in doing what he did for a living.
You were 11 years old.
I was 11 years old, and I was like, I think it's pretty neat. I could see. I like it. He was like, all right, no sell, and from that point on, I knew what I was going to do, and he never ever held my feet to the fire. I graduated SMU in 2007, okay. And came to work about 4 months later at Bob Thomas Ford full-time in September of 2007.
But you've been training your entire life.
That's right, yeah. I've been working. When I got here, Bob Thomas Ford was rock and rolling, and I told my dad, I was like, we've got an extra facility right next door. Let's try to find another franchise to put in. And when Bob asked, Bob put it in my hands if to research some franchises, and I went looking, and of the franchises I found, Subaru, was actually looking to put a dealer in this area. Subaru, they were actually looking to expand, while a lot of other franchises were looking to keep their dealer bodies intact. We pretty much set up shop, and they got us cars, and we put the signs up, and we had to register with the state of Texas, our new franchise, and then we were operational. And
but suddenly you're 27 years old, 28 years old, and your name is all over.
Yeah, it's been exciting. There were 7 Subaru dealerships when we got our dealership in the Dallas Metroplex, and there's 6 now.
Okay.
And 3 of them have kind of become the big 3, and we've fallen into that area too. So we've seen massive growth here at Brandon Thomas Subaru, partly because I think timing. We are in a brand new facility that we ended up deciding to build just for Subaru, and so the brand is on fire, the economy is getting better, sales are increasing, and so it's kind of been a rocket ship. It's almost difficult to try to pinpoint exactly what it is that we're doing to keep our sales growing. But love to travel. Grew up being very fortunate to travel a lot. I'm an only child, and I think that had something to do with it. My parents could just get the rollaway brought up, and it didn't cost much more to bring me along for the journey. Because of that, I've had the chance to go on many incredible adventures and see the world. So I've been to Africa twice, and I think both those trips top my book as my favorite trips. In October, my parents took my then fiance and I with them to Kenya and Tanzania, and we had just an incredible time seeing that side of the world.
You married your best friend. That's what you said
on
Facebook, yeah?
That's correct. I was very very lucky. Her brother and I went to school together. He was a year older, and I never knew her. You just mentioned Facebook. I bet we had over 100 friends in common by the time we actually met. But for whatever reason, we had never met. And our mutual friends was coming down to see me in Dallas. I was living in Dallas at the time, and he called her and said, hey, what are you doing tonight? You want to come to Dallas? She's like, sure, I'd love to come. And the whole way down, he was like, you've got to meet this guy. He's the greatest guy, and talked this guy up the whole way down.
Well, was it about you?
No, it wasn't talking about me. He's talking about my roommate. She's from Philadelphia originally, and I took her to a Cowboys-Eagles game. And so that was kind of our first date, and then got dated for a while, and then popped the question, and now we're married.
Practiced on my sins, never gonna let me win on. Under everything, just another human being.
So one of the neatest adventures I've ever been on was for graduation. My parents paid for me to go to culinary school, and I found Le Cordon Bleu in London and spent 3 months over there learning basic cuisine. So it was French culinary school in London. The original Le Cordon Bleu is in Paris, but they speak French, and so that would have been a little difficult for us.
They got a different word for everything.
Right. So.
If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good.
I wonder every day as I look upon your face. Everything you gave and nothing you would